Uh, I have inside me the blood of kings. Hello, everyone.
Take me to the future. I'm the Wordle. I think is the
had we had our druthers, we could have played the song to lead us into this, but
that would be illegal.
Yeah, it is card game Necromancy Highlander time. I hope you're excited for this. I am.
You've been holding all this Highlander knowledge in your brain. Now
it's true. And I get to tell it to Justin. I've teased Justin here and there with some information, but I've wanted to try to keep his reaction as genuine as possible for the stream.
I do not know how to play yet, so
yeah. I'm going to start with the traditional info dump about the game, and then we'll move into the game. I have 2 decks put together. I thought that I might be able to hit a stretch goal and get 4 decks together, but I don't know if anybody's tried buying card sleeves lately, but it is not easy to find multiple.
And you work in a game store.
And I work in a game store.
The problem is I went to that store and bought them all out.
Yeah.
When the last Keyforge set came out. But that was 8 months ago.
Yeah. So it is not easy to find as many sleeves as you would think that you would be able to find right now due to production reasons. But
side note on that, I did see that shipping containers are literally 10 times the cost. Whereas a shipping container would have been $3,000 to rent 2 years ago. It's now $30,000 to rent. So that's explaining all of your delays with shipping, increased shipping costs.
Yeah.
Maybe making board games produced overseas literally not possible financially.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on with that.
Yeah. So be ready for that. All right. So back to Highlander the card game. This was billed as a sword master system. Which I saw that logo on the box, and that like right there is what 100% sold me on the Highlander card game. Right, this was a complete blind spot. This game, despite being a longtime game store employee,
didn't know it existed at all.
I was aware of its existence, but I knew absolutely nothing about the game. There are other games that are upcoming, like for instance the X-Files game, that we're gonna do at some point during the season, hopefully. I have a vague awareness of how that game functions, but Highlander, on the other hand, is one I had never seen played. I didn't know anybody that played it, so it was just complete blind spot. I wasn't even, as I confessed before, I didn't watch any of the Highlander stuff. So
we are Highlander posers. Anything we say about Highlander, the movie or TV show, we're not educated on. We're gonna lay that out there right now.
We are fake gamer guys when it comes to Highlander. Okay, so but yeah, now the system is interesting. There's a lot to grab onto here. The first thing I'll talk about, and we've got the card cam set up so that we can show you some stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is the attacks in the game. Now, to build a deck, you need 50 cards. Asterisk. I'll return to the asterisk. You need 50 cards to make a deck.
Minimum.
Okay. You can include any amount of cards. In your deck,
a 500 card deck.
You could make a maybe maybe you could. I don't think it would be as easy as it sounds to make a 500 card deck in this game, and I'll get into that in a bit. And one of the basic prerequisites is that you have to include 9 copies of basic attacks and 6 copies of the basic defenses. Okay. So here is a basic attack. This is Little Right Attack.
Iconic.
Okay. Now, as you can probably surmise, the other 8 basic attacks are the other parts of the grid. Big in the Midwest. Okay, so I played Star Wars CCG, and I played it a lot from the years of 97, 98, 99. So in the Southeast, I traveled to a lot of Star Wars tournaments. I never crossed paths with any Highlander people, so that kind of adds up. Now, Magic has and always will be popular in various areas, but Highlander, I never really found anybody. I knew there were pockets of like the Lord of the Rings, like Middle Earth, and so in my travels, I would see other games play, but Highlander never once. So, okay. All right. And now basic block. And I'll put this right next to it. This is the upper center block.
You said there's 6 different blocks?
Yes.
Is it like upper center, right, left, bottom?
It is upper center, upper left, and upper right. And then the
like the
lower
corners.
equivalents. Yeah.
And the corners.
And the corner blocks also block the middle square as well. So you weren't into CCGs after the Star Trek and Star Wars Decipher. Yeah, and that's fair. Those games have a specific charm to them that's like, I feel like is unique to that game. All right. But yeah, now effectively, and this is we've got the turn structure up in the upper right hand corner of your screen, but these 2 cards right here are the basic gist of the game.
Just play an attack, block, and attack.
I'm going to play an attack. You're going to play a block.
Try to block it.
And you're going to try to block it. And then once you block it successfully or not, you'll take your damage or not. And then you'll throw an attack back at me. And we just go back and forth doing that the whole game. And the winner is the person who is left standing afterwards.
All right, cool.
And that's pretty, at its core, that's very graspable, right? Like it makes sense in your head. This is a sword master system. We are trying to use a sword to kill our opponent. And I can block in different areas. Now,
how much damage does like an attack do?
2.
Just 2 damage. Okay, it's always 2 damage. Okay.
It is always, well, yes. Yeah.
Unless, right, but
it is always basically, it is 2 damage.
Right.
That the damage gets modified by different things. For instance, the center attack is called thrust. And thrust does an extra point of damage.
Okay.
If successful. But that's because it attacks the center square and it's blocked by most of the blocks in the game. So if you can manage to land it, then you'll get some extra damage. Now there is another caveat that I'll add. And that is the headshot card right here. And if you land a headshot, you kill your opponent. It's Highlander, baby. You just cut your opponent's head off. They're dead. You won. It's that easy. So now, unfortunately, I only have 1 copy of the headshot card. So I have not included it in either of our decks. Which I guess is fair. I don't know.
We'll see. If one deck trounces the other one, you can put the headshot.
We can put the headshot in the other deck. Yeah. Now I love the concept of headshot.
Yeah.
Because this is a great catch-up mechanic. You're getting your ass beat.
At any point, you could just
your only chance is for the one, like maybe they don't have the block, and so you go for the swing and you try to take off your opponent's head. And I can only imagine your opponent has a grip full of cards, and you play the attack. And they don't have the block, and you land it, and you just like take their head clean off. That's got to feel amazing. That is probably the best feeling in the Highlander card game, right there. So, yeah, yeah, that's probably fair. So yeah, and now I think having headshot in the game. That's public knowledge. Everybody knows the headshot exists.
You need to save something.
You
save a block for headshot.
You are going to be playing as if a headshot can come at any moment.
Yeah.
I like I said, love the idea of it. Now, I'll take a second to mention what is known as one of the tournament formats. I believe was called the Quickening, which is like where you steal the ability from another immortal, and that's because every character has an ability on them. Now, in a tournament,
you actually get to steal their ability.
You steal their ability. If you kill them with a headshot, you take their ability for the next game. And so as you go through the tournament, everybody's more and more powerful leading up to the finals.
That's actually awesome.
And I love that idea.
That's so cool. Yeah.
That is, to me, amazing, right? Apparently you can there's some degree of coordination ahead of time to make sure that there's not like a whole lot of overlapping characters and whatnot. Because I don't think there's the game is still actively played one way or another. So I believe this is if you were watching this video in the future, this is 2021. Dragon Con happened. It was at reduced capacity, but apparently there were people playing Highlander sealed, so they just opened some decks. They're not too expensive. It's pretty affordable. But they opened some sealed decks and they played some at Dragon Con, right? So there are people out there who still play this game, and I believe most of it's organized through the internet. So if you get the urge to go play the game, there are people still looking to play it. I'm going to show off some of the characters real quick. Now, these are the two characters that were kind of stretch goals to put together, and the way the sets were published, it appears that they focused on several characters in a set, and then they would release like a bunch of characters in that set. They'd move on to the next set. There were quickening cards awarded at the tournaments that were separate cards, but they were forced antes. If you played them and your opponent took your head, they won your quickening. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Right?
That's great.
Because it's ante stuff, right? Yeah. Magic had ante before they decided to get rid of it. And so having something like that, but if it's on the line, if everybody agrees to it, it's like playing poker at that point, right?
Like you could go to like a pink slip Keyforge tournament, right?
Yeah,
and that would be fun.
Yeah,
bring a deck that you don't mind losing that can still compete.
But yeah, all right. Here are two personalities, real quick. Now we've got Hugh Fitzcairn here. Now I believe Chopper Dan said that you played Hugh or Fitzcairn here when you played, and then Annie Devlin, and that is an Irish flag behind Annie Devlin. It is chroma keyed out. If you're wondering why, it's clear there. But these are two characters that I've got a bunch of cards for. If this video does well, we may do a follow-up video at some point. So
they would take heads in the tournament and then sell the quickenings back to the That's good stuff. Good. That is good.
That's pretty good. Give me $15 and I'll give it back to you.
That's awesome.
So yeah. Now the front part. This is a personality card. And the front part of the personality tells you who you're playing with, and you get a nice kind of like full card picture. Of it, right?
Can I hide the chroma real quick? Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. That's the picture right there. Oh, it's hard to look at. Good. Oh, flashbanged everybody.
God.
Sorry, dark mode users. All right. Played by the lead.
Oh, what?
Okay, hilarious. So I mean, the Highlander show ran for like 119 episodes over like a 6-year period. And so the list of people who were in the show is lengthy, and it's as small as character actors from the 90s. $50. That's pretty funny. $50 at the time. So that's pretty
a lot,
big. Yeah. So yeah, you had like character actors from the 90s that were in the show into like people who are probably still around today. So yeah. Now on the back of the characters, you get some bio, and the bottom rectangle here
that is unreadable
gives
text.
You their ability. Yes. Now, I have said many times that graphic design was not invented until like the mid 2000s for card games, and the Highlander card game is extremely guilty of not having well thought out graphic design. We've got white text on an orange white background in with a backdrop of orange and white and green. So it's not like not high contrast, it's difficult to look at. But every character's got a special ability on them, and it sets them apart. So Annie basically it says if she's successfully attacked, then you get to throw 2 extra attacks, which breaks the rules right there, right? Now, before I said I get to
basically
throw 1
attack on your turn once. Okay.
Yeah. So Annie, on the other hand, can let an attack through and then play 3 attacks to attack the opponent.
Okay.
So that's interesting, right? It's one of those where your opponent is throwing an attack as kind of like a feint, because there's a lot of that. It kind of mimics like a
you want to like draw out their defenses.
Yeah, right, exactly. You're trying to find like where you can actually land attacks, right? Like if I know that you don't really have like a whole lot of low blocks in your hand, maybe I just try to take your legs out.
Once you find out that you don't have a low block, then you're like low attack, low attack, low attack, right?
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting. There's a little bit of bluff there too, right? Because you could choose to take an attack that you've got a place for a block for, and then kind of go from there. Now, Hugh Fitzcairn's ability is instead of playing a special card, you may make an exertion on your turn to prevent up to 2 points of damage. And I'll explain special cards and exertions in a bit. But Hugh Fitzcairn's ability there is a little bit more strategic. Annie feels like an aggro attack, and Hugh feels more like a control character where they're trying to like find the right opening to deliver the headshot and beat them. Now, okay, so your personality matters because you are restricted to playing cards in your deck based off of your personality. So now I can play this duck for Annie. Now, this is once again a green card that is chromed out there. So all the places that are see-through right there, that is actually green. Now, this duck is underneath it says Annie Devlin. That means I can play this card in an Annie Devlin deck. I can play 6 copies of this card. There are generic immortals, okay? So if you don't have a personality,
you're just a guy.
You're just a guy. You're just, hey, what's up?
Were there any benefits to doing that? Like, were there cards
Yes.
Maybe.
The way it works is, if you're a generic immortal, you can play cards from other immortals as long as they're not locked to that immortal. So, now, for instance, this Connor McLeod Battle Rage is locked to Connor McLeod, and that is that sword icon in the top right. Okay, that means only Connor McLeod can play this card. Asterisk. Apparently, there are ways that you can include cards from other immortals, even with the sword on them, in your deck. There's rule-breaking cards that allow that. So while this is locked to Connor McLeod, it's not locked to Connor McLeod.
That's a card game thing. Like, you have rules that the cards. Every card that is printed breaks a rule in some way, right?
Right. But if you're a generic immortal, you cannot play this Connor McLeod thing. Now, and I think I didn't go look up the cards that break the rule, but I want to show off this card. There's actually a couple reasons why I want to show this card off. Now, the first reason is that this card is foil. Ooh, it's got foil text.
I have a headache.
Looking at the card.
Look at any of these cards.
Now, this has an S, and
you start the game with the character card.
The character cards begin the game in play. So this S behind the sword up there means it's super locked or something like that. And that actually means true restricted. Okay. So cards that allow you to include cards from other characters cannot include this card. Now, another interesting thing about this card is that it's misprinted. And it's not the text. It's not the unreadable text. It's not the white text on the black and white splotchy background, okay? It is the fact that this card does not have a back to it. This is actually the text for another character their pregame card, and this card was just misprinted. So
what?
I somehow opened this card. I think it's like some sort of fixed rarity or something like that.
Huh.
But we looked it up because I was like, this doesn't make any sense because this is a card that is locked to Methos, who's apparently a reoccurring character on the show to some degree. And this card says, play this card before the game begins in conjunction with the Kane Persona card. And you're just kind of like scratching your head, and it's because it's a misprint. The normal back of the card looks like this, which I've ragged on the graphic design. I don't hate.
I do
this
like
back.
the back of the card.
This back is not that bad. This is a pleasing back of the card. It looks nice. The font. I mean, you look at it,
you know what it is.
Boom. This is Highlander.
Yep.
Right. And it's got that sweet Swordmaster logo on it.
So you know. When you play future Swordmaster products, this is where it all started.
Right. But yeah. So that is the character restrictions on the cards.
This could have been Star Wars Destiny, let's be honest.
You're not wrong.
You could have lightsaber duels.
You could have had a lightsaber duel. Now, something else that I want to point out about the card. Was Immortal secretly hiding out? Okay. So I'm gonna call attention to this battle rage real quick. Now you've got a 50 card deck size, and you can't include any more than 6 copies of a card unless the card has a number up here, and that's the maximum that you can play. So you can only play 4 copies of this Connor McLeod battle rage in your deck. I'll show off my character real quick. This is Callus, front of the card right there, back of the card right there. Callus's ability makes it so that I can, when Justin draws up for his turn, if I did damage to him, Justin has to discard cards. So my character is like kind of a control character. Justin's ability makes it so that when he exerts to make an attack, and I'll cover exertions in a bit, he can play any number of attacks from that exertion. So he's more of an aggro character too. All right. Now when we were opening the boxes, we ran across some white bordered cards, and we wondered what they were. These are pre-game cards. So we can actually play these cards.
Richie's
jacket's got green sleeves. But you can actually play these cards in conjunction with your Persona cards. Now, Richie, Ryan, and Slan are not in this set. I would assume they're in the first set. Slan Quince is a throwaway character from the very first episode. He is killed before the end of the first episode. Spoilers for a almost 30-year-old show. And Richie Ryan is a recurring character for a long time in the show. But all of these work kind of similarly. They make it so that your character can have starts the game with +1 ability, which is effectively your life. So these two, I ended up opening these two. I opened the Kern +1. And I opened Darius as well. Now Darius is a pre-game card who is interesting, and I'll just read his thing because this is where I talked about how this set feels like either an answer or expanding expanding the game in ways I don't fully understand, because I don't have like a full copy of the first set or two to work with to really understand what like the meta worked with. So play this card before the game begins. This card allows you to increase the number of master cards you normally include in your deck. You're allowed 1 extra master card. Darius will not allow you to increase the restriction number of any master cards. You must announce to your opponent which master card Darius allows before play begins. Okay. So all the characters' abilities that we have say you may have up to 5 master cards in your deck. So Darius lets you include a 6th copy of a master card. So you have this ultra rare that lets you break the deck building restrictions.
What's a master card?
So it is a card that just says master in the title.
Okay.
So for instance, Master Swordsman. This is a master card. Now, there were Annie Devlin has a Master's Attack. Hugh Fitzcairn has a Master's Block. Duncan MacLeod has a Master's Block. So Kern and Kalis don't have any Master cards locked to them, or at least if they do, they weren't. I didn't open them.
Yeah.
I don't know how big this set was. I opened 3 boxes. After we opened the first one, I went and bought 2 more boxes because I wanted to at least have a Annie Devlin personality card so that we could build a deck with her, and then also try to get a chance to get more rares and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyway, so I don't know how many of these pre-game cards there are that make deck restrictions interesting, but it's kind of neat. And I don't hate having something. Now, James Horton and Joe Dawson are both pre-game cards, and they start the game. They're watchers. They're considered watchers. So they start the game in play, and they have abilities and whatnot. Now, both Joe Dawson and James Horton both have cards with their name and the title that are regular cards that are played. And the James Horton card, like, counters the card that your opponent plays with Darius. So you have, like, a common in the set that counters your ultra rare, which I thought was just hilarious. Unless there are, like, more copies of Darius, and maybe Darius was in different sets. I don't know. I'm purely speculating here. I didn't look at a card list before this because I wouldn't even necessarily know what I was looking at. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was really funny because I read the James Horton card and I was like, counters Darius? I guess that's a card from another set. And then I opened Darius in like another box and I was like, oh, okay, that explains it. But yeah. Another pregame promo card called Thunder Castle Games with a bunch of different picks, mostly Thunder Castle employees. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that feels like a mid-90s card game decision right there to include pictures of your employees as like extra promo stuff and stuff. Yeah, I was telling Justin, this game feels like it absolutely feels from a different era. A lot of the design decisions that were made, and it because this clearly came out in the Wild West of card games, for so many different reasons. So you could use them to counter any card your opponent played, but you had to rip it. So they actually made Chaos Orb into
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's how you increase value right there. I mean, if the Highlander world is on the line, so
yeah, you do it.
Okay. Now, so we covered attacks, we covered defenses. On your turn, you are allowed to play one special card. Special cards are locations, situations, events, or edges. Okay, and I'll leave edges off to the side because we'll get to those in a second. So, location, like the lighthouse that I'm assuming Annie Devlin fought at in the one episode, because all of the pictures of Annie Devlin fighting are at this lighthouse. But location sits in play, and just has an effect that affects both players.
Okay.
Easy enough, right? There are objects is another one. So I'm gonna include this object because I think this one is actually really, really funny. I think this was a rare in this set. And this is the Watcher's Chronicle. You can only include 2 copies of the Watcher's Chronicle in your deck. This is an object, so you would play this during your turn. And it says, while this card is in play, instead of playing a special card on your turn, you may search through your Endurance, and Endurance is your deck, because that is like your, I guess, reserve of energy that you have to fight. And for any Nemesis card and put it directly into play, regardless of who your opponent is. Reshuffle your Endurance. Now, so this lets you go get Nemesis cards. Now, I did not include Nemesis cards in the decks that I built for me and Justin. As funny as it would be to play these, and that's because Nemesis cards are cards that directly counter your opponent's ability. Which I can't decide if I love or hate as a game decision. Because this takes up a card slot in your deck. And if your opponent is not playing
that character. It does literally nothing.
Yeah. It doesn't get to do anything, right? So you have a dead card. There's no sideboards in this game, from what I can tell. You have to make the decision to play it. But yeah, so these are situation cards. You can only play one situation. Situations sit in play until something takes them out of play. But yeah, these are abilities that just kind of
no one played them. Okay.
Yeah. They didn't seem particular. Now, I do think, like, if you have a deck, if you know the Highlander meta, and you know the deck that absolutely houses you, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Throw one in.
Maybe you throw one in.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea. And the Watcher's Chronicle to me is funny because it effectively acts as a sideboard for Nemesis. You could include like one copy of like 4 or 5 different Nemesis, and then play this card, and then on your next turn play another one. Now that may be too slow. I don't know the pace of the game. Justin and I will literally be playing our first game of Highlander, the card game, on stream for everybody. So we'll find out the pace then. But yeah, so situations have this icon up there. The objects had like a sword icon on them. The events have... I'm saving this one for a second. The events have this icon on them. It's like a lightning bolt. Now, so events are played and then go to the discard pile. Situations sit and play until something affects them or that they leave play. And so like this cover card, for instance, is basically like you're now both player. There's a piece of terrain in the way of both players, and it affects the cards that you can play. There's some kind of interesting things, and this is a standing defense, and there were cards in this set that got rid of standing defenses, because there's like this series of like guards, and it's like you've got like a left guard or whatever, so it's like any attacks that come on that side you automatically block, and that guard stays in play. But if your opponent trips you and you lose your guards, so that like feels kind of like a sword fight mechanic there. So interesting things. Now, this does bring me to one of the most baffling decisions made in this game. And that was to have cards that had the same name, but with different texts.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to show you some cards.
But that makes sense when you have the deck building restrictions of 6 per name of a card, right?
And you can, and your minimum deck size is 50, but there's no maximum.
Right.
Because now you can print effects that you can't, like...
So you, like, balance around card names.
Yeah. So here's some holy grounds. Are you ready? I got 4 different holy grounds. I can't get them all on this... but yeah, here's some holy grounds.
Okay.
But yeah, these two have the same text, but they have different pictures because they're from different sets or whatever. But yeah, so you got a holy ground up here. Now, apparently this was errated, because this is like a location. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be an event or something. I don't know. This just feels like a misprint, right? Because this has the same text as this one.
But it's a location.
Yeah.
Instead of an event.
Yeah. So, like I said, it doesn't really make any kind of sense, but it's got different text. And this one says, you lose the battle and escape to holy ground. You lose the duel, but do not lose your head. And I'm wondering if that card just means you concede.
It ends the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it may matter if your opponent has played a card that says you cannot play events, or your opponent has a card that says you cannot play locations or whatever. I don't know. That I have several questions. Okay, but
the other one's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then you got like these two, right? Play this card in your defense phase. Avoid all attacks this turn. Both players shuffle their hands back into their endurance and redraw. So you both players just shuffle their hands back in. I assume redraw means redraw the number that you had, but once again, that's not very specified. Yeah. It's probably around it somewhere. And then the last holy ground here says there's like a lot of the cards in this game have like some flavor text. Okay, that's pretty funny. So that's the card that you include like 1 or 2 copies of, so that way you don't have to pay your opponent $50 to get your card back. Cool. After the turn is over. Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense to me. All right. So this one says you escape temporarily to holy ground. That's flavor text. Now, in the later set, they put it at least in a different font at the beginning. But yeah. Avoid all attacks this turn. All players discard 4 cards and draw up to their ability, and your turn is over. So, but yeah. Multiple cards with the same name with different effects. Now, the Watcher's Chronicle set, apparently there were cards called Watcher in the first set. And these are, I believe these are referred to as grouped cards.
Okay.
And the characters will often have the same card but locked to them. So, for instance, Kern has a back away, and Kalis has a back away.
And these there's a basic back away, or no?
Not that I saw. Okay. Now there may be one, but that matters if you're a generic immortal, because you can include 6 copies of back away. I could include a Kern one. I can include a Kalis one. I could include a backaway. And so you could go gather up a bunch of backaways from different characters and play them all together as a generic immortal. I honestly think you might have some deck building options as a generic immortal. Like I don't want to say that there's probably a generic immortal. Most odd cards were character specific. Yeah, that's what I've seen from as well, right? But you could make a generic immortal that was like Mr. Dodge or whatever, because you can include a lot of different dodges from different characters, because there's like a handful of different names. But yeah. Okay. Now, edges are a card that breaks the 1 special card per rule turn. So you can play any number of copy of edge cards, and most of the edges that I saw were all like very situationally specific. So for instance, this edge right here, careful planning, says prevent all damage to you from an event you play this turn. So one of the Watcher cards that I saw was like do damage to both players based off of the number of Watchers in play. And the Joe Dawson Watcher like lets you reshuffle Watchers back into your endurance. So I feel like there's like a control deck where you're like playing careful planning so that you don't take damage from the Watchers, but making your opponent take damage. I don't know. I'm just theorizing there. It looked like it was possible. I obviously didn't have the cards to like pull that off. But you would need to make sure that you had the careful planning so that you don't blow yourself up with your own Watchers. There's a card called like hidden explosives that do damage to each player. But this is a Xavier St. Cloud character specific card. Who even knows what set he's from? But yeah. All right. Now, one last aside before we jump into the game. What we did not know when I picked up these decks is that we found something that apparently warped the Highlander meta. Warped it to the point where people had to basically say, had to designate tournaments as in like this is okay to play in. Now, this card is an edge, and it is called Lean and Mean. Now, I may be blowing this card out of proportion, but if you read this card, for each Lean and Mean card in your deck, your minimum deck size is reduced by 1. You may play Lean and Mean during your turn to draw 1 card. So, your deck is 50 cards minimum, but if you include 6 Lean and Means in your deck is now 44 cards. Okay?
But 6 of those
cards can be played during your turn to draw a card.
Right. So you really have 38 cards.
Yes. And you may have gathered from context clues your ability right there down at the bottom, 15 and 16 there. Your ability is also your hand size. So you can draw up to 15 cards. So you have a 44 card deck that you start with 15 of them in your hand, and 6 of the cards in your deck can be played to draw a card. All right, so that essentially means that you or have a pretty good chance of seeing what you want to play. So now when we discovered this card, my brother went and looked it up, and he was like, apparently this is so powerful that you have to specify whether it is a lean and mean tournament or not. Because it's kind of like a gentleman's rule kind of thing. It's like, well, if we're playing lean and mean, everybody's playing lean and mean. And if we're not playing lean and mean, nobody will play lean and mean.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because that way everybody has an equal footing. Because if you're the guy who shows up with lean and mean, you're just like taking people's heads off left and right because you've got your deck in your hands to start with, and you're just like, okay, well, I'll do the thing that I need to do to make sure that you get hit.
That's card like you either ban that card or you say these are two types of tournaments now we have.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Now we are ready to play. We got the info dump over with.
We've done it. We got
we're gonna jump into the game here. Depending on how fast this game is, we may be able to get a second game in. So Justin has the Kern pre-game card, which allows Justin to start the game with 16 cards, or 16 ability. You draw up to an amount. Like I don't think you have to have all, but I don't see why you wouldn't have.
So
all.
I can draw up to 16 though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can draw up to 15. Now I'm gonna have to glance at the rule book to refresh on how power attacks work, and I'll explain those in a second. We have to. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
My immortal.
What's this? There's an immortal nearby. All right. So Justin is a biker. I'm guessing. I'm a dude who apparently attacks people in churches. So that's the backstory.
There you go. That's all we know.
The biker shows up to ask for forgiveness, and I say, "Well, I'm going to cut your head off. You came to the wrong church." All right, we roll a die to see who goes first. 11. 4. Okay.
3, 6, 9.
It feels like I played Martian Generosity.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay.
15. All right. Okay. So, I don't think there are any mulligan rules. Not that.
Why would there? I don't see why there would be.
When you start with a 15 card hand, I don't know why you would let people throw any cards back. But yeah. All right. So, during your turn, if you don't have an attack to play, you have to exert to make one. Yes, Eddie. Eddie senses an immortal too. You have to exert to make one. Or if you can't block your opponent's attack, you have to exert to try to block.
Okay.
And an exertion is flipping the top 5 cards of your deck over. And if any of the cards in that pile can be used to do what you need it to do, you use it. And so you can also exert to make a power blow. So when you attack, you can choose. You could choose to make something a power blow by exerting the 5. So,
but yeah, you can only do that with power attacks specifically.
No, you can make any attack. You play an attack, you make it a power attack by exerting.
Okay.
And you get 2 extra damage from the attack. And if I block it, I take 2 damage. Unless I exert to block the power.
Okay,
blow.
I see.
There should be some cards. I think I included some cards in one or the other deck that make it so that you might be able to make power blows without having to exert. But yeah. So.
All right, so I've done most of my sweep phase. That's where
your sweep phase is where you pick up any of the cards that are left over and discard them. This is also the may do, must do phase. Apparently, there are cards that will force your opponent to do something during this phase sometimes. And
then defense phase.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about either of these because you're the first player. I haven't attacked you, and you haven't played any cards. So you don't have to worry about.
And I can attack on my first turn.
Yep, you're allowed to attack on your first turn.
Okay, so I have these 3 leaning means, so I just play these and draw 3 cards.
That is correct. That is how that card works. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep, and those go. Those hang out.
They hang out till next turn.
Yeah, till you sweep them up. Yeah.
Okay. So now it's my attack phase. I just put an attack down.
Yeah, you can play one special card.
Oh, okay.
and you can also attack.
So I can play this Bowie knife.
Yes, so that is Kern's weapon.
And this does not get swept, or does it?
That is correct, because it is an object. It'll sit in play.
Okay. So the Bowie knife says, while Bowie knife is in play, when you exert for an attack, you may exert an additional 3 cards. You may only have 1 Bowie knife in play.
Yep.
So I will play an attack, and it just goes face up.
Yep.
So I'll play middle left attack.
Middle left attack. Okay.
So I can say I want a power attack and exert.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I do 5 cards.
Yep.
I just flip 5 cards.
Yes. Now I believe Kern's ability says when you exert
for an attack, you may play any number of non-special attacks from that exertion. You may have up to 5 master cards. So and then I get an additional 3 cards.
Yes. So I think this is the way this works. I may be wrong. It may be exert for an attack, meaning you don't have any attacks in your hand and you're exerting to play one. But I think this is probably fine here. We'll just let it go. We'll let it ride. So any non-special attacks there you can play.
So I can play this Flurry Strike.
Yes.
And lower left attack.
Yep.
And Flurry Strike.
Yep.
And lower center attack.
Yes, you can attack with all of these.
But I can't play Master Swordsman.
That is correct, because it is a special attack.
And these just get discarded?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, yeah. So that is correct. Yeah. So Justin is attacking me 5 times. Now, so this one is a power attack, right? And you choose the order in which these attack me.
Okay.
So that because I have to like block them in order, basically.
Lower center attack.
Okay. Well, no. So you like kind of line them up. So this was the first one you played, and that's the power attack, right?
So we'll just do that one last, then.
Okay. Yeah.
There, that's fine.
Okay, so that's a power attack, and then in that order.
Well, I was doing left to right.
Oh, okay. From my perspective. Sure. All right, so this one, and then the power attack is last. Okay, so it is now my turn. I don't have anything to sweep up.
So the attack is like queued?
Yes. So it goes to my defense phase, and now I play defenses against this stuff.
But do I draw?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think you only draw 1 card here.
14.
Oh, so you draw 2 cards.
2 cards. Okay.
Yeah.
You draw up to your ability on the draw phase. Base attacks are all the only 9 requires attacks.
Required attacks.
Or only the 9 required
attacks.
Yeah.
Well, I believe Kern's ability said non-special attacks, right? So like Flurry Strike is
a number of non-special attacks.
Yeah, Flurry Strike is an attack. It's not a basic attack, but it's not labeled special attack. So I believe that's the way this works. I may be making an incorrect assumption here, but okay. So it is my turn. I am I'm in danger. Okay. Alright, so I am going to play this card. Actually, I'll wait to play that card. I think I'll end up taking a bunch of damage here. Alright. So I've got a lower center attack. So I will play a lower center block against the lower center attack. It was a middle left. All right. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's for our purposes. It's not that important. So we're just trying to like get a. But yeah, I think because it says exert for an attack. Essentially, like. If I didn't have a block here, I could exert.
When you exert for an attack, that would make sense. So it did say when you power attack, right?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't say when you. It didn't say when
if
you.
This game
exert.
ends instantly. We will play that way.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I think I can survive this. Okay. All right. So now, Flurry Strike has some special text on it, right? And it says if this attack is successful, it deals an additional point of damage for every other Flurry Strike played this turn. If the previous attack played this turn was a Flurry Strike, this attack may not be blocked. Yeah, play Holy Ground. I'll escape.
So I really wanted to be like this then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got you're gonna chop my legs off. Chop him in my legs. All right. That one is a right one. This one is a right one. So I will play upper right block to block this, and I'll just play them like this so that I can line them up, right? Because we're trying to match the grids. Yeah. So that attack is in the lower middle. That's blocking that. This is in the right. So that's blocking that. Now, this cannot be blocked, but this can be dodged, which is a green card. So I can play back away. It says this defense will not avoid range attacks. I may only make range attacks this turn. I don't actually have any range attacks to play. This one I'm going to take, so I will take 2 damage from that. And then this upper left block, I will play here. Since this is a power attack, I have to exert. Otherwise, I will still take 2 damage. If this went through, I would take 4.
Yeah.
If I block, I take 2. If I block with an exertion, so I'll block 4 and 5. So I'll block like that. I don't take any extra damage from the power blow there. So I end up just taking 2. Alright, so I can only make range attacks this turn. So I will play this edge that says plot twist, and this says play this card in order to play a situation plot out of sequence. And I must still have all parts of the plot in play before it can take effect. So I am going to use that to... Oh, this is an event. Oh, because I can't use that yet. Can I use the... Nope, I don't have the prerequisite card. I will instead, because the event goes away.
In discard pile?
No, that's in my hand. I'll play Master's Advice. So before you took his head, Brother Paul taught you patience. While the card is in play, your ability is increased by 2. So I'll play this card, and so that'll give me 2 ability back to put me back up to 15.
Oh, so you actually just go to 15?
Yep. Actually, I think no, I can't. I can't play any more special. 115. All right. Okay, that is that. I have 10 cards, so I will draw 5. This all sits in play, I believe, until the sweep phase. Your lenient means will also get swept up. Yeah, so I draw another 5.
Okay. I'll play this hog.
Okay.
While the hog's in play, you may make an exertion during your defense phase to avoid 1 attack, or you may make one of your attacks this turn a power blow without an exertion. If hog leaves play, you lose 1 ability. You may only have 1 hog in play. So... I'll play this middle red attack.
Okay.
I guess I won't... We probably shouldn't play like the thing.
Yeah.
Like we were playing. So.
But you could make it a power blow without exerting with the hog, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it is a power blow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
All right. So
14. So I draw 2.
Yeah. So this will. I'll sweep those up. I am going to defend with Master Swordsman. This card seems very good, which is why it's probably a master card, and you're probably limited to the number of these that you play. When you play this card, choose 1 area on the grid where the attack or defense applies. If used as an attack, this may be a power blow without exertion. Used as a defense, this defense may block a power blow without exertion. So I will choose to defend the middle right attack as a power, without having to exert. So. And I will go ahead and play Plot Twist just so I can get this card out of my hand. I'll play Song of the Executioner. So the way dodges and back away will defend all attacks, by the way. Okay, so I could have just played. That's fine. At the rate this is going, I think we'll probably have time to probably get another game in, because I think this is moving pretty quickly. So the Song of the Executioner here is a Callous card, and it's an event plot. Oh, this only lets me play a situation plot. I'm cheating. Okay, well, I am going to attack you with Stalk. Special attack. If your opponent played Holy Ground last turn, this attack may not be blocked or dodged. This attack may be, yeah. This attack may not be a power blow unless played in conjunction with Headshot. So you didn't play Holy Ground. I thought about trying to get you with some stuff by like putting cards in there that were trap cards for each of us, but that felt really dumb for streaming. Okay, anyway, so I'll play Stalk there. Okay, and it is attacking you in the top right. Oh, sorry, the middle top.
Okay, it's my turn.
Yep, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll get to draw 3.
So I'll play this upper center block on that.
Okay.
And then I'll place Lean Me to draw a card.
Okay.
And
this is where I really wish we had some headshots so we could just try to take each other's head off.
This event says, up to 2 of your attacks this turn may be power blows without an exertion. You may make more than 1 power blow this turn. Dodges will not avoid consecutive attacks you play this turn. How do you make 2 attacks this
turn? That would be if you were exerting for an attack. Or if you had a card that would let you play more than 1 attack.
Okay.
So, like, his ability that lets you exert and play attacks, and you could play, like, multiples of them, that would let you play the rage in conjunction with those.
Now, can I choose to just do that?
To exert? Do you,
I do have attacks in my hand.
Yeah, so I think, let's see. All right. You can only make 1 exertion per turn. And when you make an exertion, you cannot play any further cards from your hand. Now, you can still play the special card before you make your exertion. So you can like play the rage and then exert. You won't necessarily know.
So this will block all attacks in a sequence as long as the defense covers the spots of the attacks.
Ah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can choose to exert for attacks instead of playing 1 from your hand. So,
okay.
Yeah, it says this may happen if you want to attack your opponent but have no attacks in your hand, or would prefer an attack other than the ones in your hand. So
I think that makes sense for Kern to just do that because more attacks. 1 attack is terrible. Also, so I'll play Rage.
Okay.
Up to 2 of your attacks this turn may be power blows without an exertion. You may make more than 1 power blow this turn. Dodges will not avoid consecutive attacks you play this turn.
And you lose 1 ability as the final part of that. Okay. So
I'll lose an ability. That's fine. I don't need a hand anyway. I will. I only got 2 attacks. So I got upper right attack and flurry strikes. They're both power blows.
Okay.
And that's my turn. 14. So I draw 1 card.
Yep. Okay. All right. So these get swept up. I will have to attack. So I can do the upper center block to block that one, and I will exert 3, 4, 5. I'll exert to block that power blow, and then that flurry strike is to the left. So I'll play that right there to block that one. I can't exert because I can only make 1 exertion per turn, so I will take 2 damage from that attack.
Yeah, this game has 15 card starting hand sizes, Joker. So we said we thought we were playing with Martial Generosity when we drew our hands.
Okay. I am gonna play Lean and Mean to draw a card. Okay. I am.
What if you exert more cards than there in your deck? Do you reshuffle and get more?
So when you run out of cards in your deck, you take 5 damage and you reshuffle. Now, I don't know if it happens during an exertion. I think it does. Running out of cards. When you draw the last card in your endurance, you are exhausted. You lose 5 ability during your next ability adjustment phase. Shuffle the cards and discard pile back into your endurance off of your opponent cut and continue playing. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna play Plot Twist so that I can play Forgery. It says retrieve a situation plot from your discard pile and put it back into play. And Plot Twist lets me play something out of order. So I'll play Song of the Executioner plot. It's a plot, and this is protege. What does that mean? Who knows? So those are my cards for the turn. I have 5, 10, 11. I have 13. So I will. Oh, I get to. I can also throw an attack. I'm gonna attack you with the stalk again. Once again, attacking you squarely in your head. Okay, so 10 cards. I'll draw 3.
Okay. I'll do the upper left block for the stalk.
Okay.
Then I'll do the power blue event, and we'll do an exertion for an attack.
Okay.
So that's 5 cards. I'll reshuffle and do 3 more. Okay. You take 5 damage.
It does feel like that deck captures the essence of a methed up biker. Swinging wildly.
Turn definitely does not want any cards in his hand. I wish I could discard my land right now, which I'm glad that I'm taking damage so I can discard cards. Alright. 3 more cards. Alright.
No attacks. 1 attack. So 2 total attacks.
Both power attacks.
Okay. Trying to chop my left and right attack.
Okay. So I will discard 5 cards.
Okay.
I have 13 cards, so I'll discard 3 cards.
Okay. I will sweep this stuff up. The protege sits in play. You are like totally wailing on me. Alright, I'll block the lower left and I will exert. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I will block the lower right. Can't exert for that one. So I'll end up taking 2. I will play this Lean and Mean to draw a card. And then for my turn, I am gonna play Forgery, which lets me retrieve a situation plot from a discard pile and put it back into play. So I'll play Song of the Executioner, Jealousy. It says you must have Protege in play to play this card. What's happening? Anything could happen. All right, and then I will attack you. All right, we're going straight down the middle. Thrust. Okay, I have 9 cards in hand. I will draw 2.
Okay, I'll play. I got a sweep. We sweeping. I'll play Master Swordsman to block the thrust.
Yep.
And I'll play Challenge, so no dodges may be played in my next turn. I'll exert for an attack. 5, 6, 7, 8. The lean and means. They're terrible. They're terrible. Again, I have 2 attacks.
Okay.
Kern is not the lean and mean build.
It could be. Yeah, it's possible that you just went like you would make like a 30 card attack deck, right?
Yeah.
With Kern, that might. Okay, so I cannot dodge. Flurry strikes.
Till the end of my next turn.
Yeah. So that also means you. All right. So these are swept up. All right. I am going to. I'm gonna play Forgery. Oh no, it doesn't. No, I'm just gonna play Song of the Executioner. Okay. This is the event. Malice. You must have Protege and Jealousy in play to play this card. Discard all 3. All of your opponents lose 6 ability. Each player may reduce this loss of ability by 1 for each card they discard from their hand at the beginning of the next turn.
Okay. Outstanding.
And then I can't block. So I will block this middle right attack. And then I will exert. So 1, 2, shuffle, and then exert some more. I think my head's about to get chopped off. I think the relentless Kern power blows are taking their toll on me. So I will take 5 damage for having to reshuffle.
Pretty cool leather vest.
Offer you the chance to cut. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So I'll block that power blow, but I'll end up taking this 4 here. So I'll end up taking 9 this turn, which is kind of bad. And then I'll attack you with a kind of the pathetic, weak lower center attack. Okay, and it is your turn.
Okay, you can exert for a defense too.
Yeah, I can only.
You were exerting to stop the power blows, right?
Yeah, I can only exert once a turn, right? So I exerted to stop the. So I could exert and try to block this one, but still take damage from the power blow aspect of it. But I could also miss. So it's like
you could try to fish. Okay.
Or I could just exert to block this power blow to stop the 4 damage from this one, taking 4 damage from the other one, right? So this was not this. If I exert to block here, that's not a guaranteed block, and I would take the damage.
Right, so I'll discard my 6 cards.
And I have 2 underscore.
You have discard down.
Yeah. Well, discarding down to 2.
I'll sweep. I discard my 6 cards.
I attacked, right?
Upper.
Yeah, the lower center.
Lower center. Yeah. I'll just take 2.
Okay.
And we'll exert for an attack.
3. Did you take your 6? Did you discard the 6? Okay, yeah. To prevent that. Okay. Okay.
Upper right, flurry strike.
Oh.
Lower center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good order. I can make one of my attacks this turn a power blow without an exertion, so we'll make the lower center power blow. And it's your turn.
Alright, so these are discarded. You can draw should you choose to.
Oh, you have to draw, don't you?
You do not.
Oh,
I believe. Yeah, I'll verify, but I believe you don't have to draw. Playing and resolving multiple defenses. I'll read through this. So, your opponent will have arranged his attacks in a specific order. After examining the attacks and playing all your defenses, you must arrange your defenses in the order they will block or avoid attacks. The defenses you play must be able to block or avoid all of them to prevent a single attack from becoming successful. Each defense you play may be used to block or avoid at least one attack. It may be quite possible to block or avoid multiple attacks with a single defense. If 2 or more attacks are to areas covered by a single defense, the Defense will block or avoid all of those attacks.
I do like that. So you could be like, that's why you're strategically laying these out to try to like draw out defenses, right? But like some defenses can hit multiples. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then draw. So if you have fewer cards in your hand than your ability, you may draw up to your ability. If you can and do decide to draw up to your ability, you do not have to draw all the way up.
Oh,
so
okay.
You can draw as many as you want.
So I'll just draw 2.
Okay. Okay, so I am going to back away, and that dodges all of the grids. I can't make an attack this turn. I'm just holding on. No, I'm hoping the meth wears off at some point and this biker just falls over. Okay, I'll draw my 1, and it is your turn.
All right, I'll play. Let's play this middle left attack as a power blow.
Okay.
Hog. That's it.
All right, I'll sweep this up. I'm gonna play Lean Mean and draw. And then I have to exert a block. Does that work? I think that works. I think I can exert for this dodge. It's just exert to defense, right? It's just exert for defense, not block necessarily. Exert, searching for defense. Yes, so I'll dodge all the way. Okay, and I may only make ranged attacks this turn. I don't have any ranged attacks, so.
Okay. I'll do an upper left attack, power attack.
Okay. I'll exert the block. Ugh. Ugh. Oh. Okay, I'll block with the Master Swordsman. I'll block to that place, and then I will attack you with an upper right attack.
So the power attack damage doesn't come through because you exerted.
Because this, if it's used as a defense, may block a power blow without an exert. Yeah, special attack or defense. I think you can play this. Exertions. Yeah. So right, I think that counts. I think his says specifically not special attacks, right?
Right.
So I believe this is legal. So all right, I'm holding on. Draw. Attacking for 2.
I'll take 2. All right. Blurry Strike, power blow.
Okay. You have to discard the 2 cards with Kalis's ability. So, all right, mine.
What made me discard?
His ability. At the end of your draw phase, you must discard a card from your hand for each point of damage you inflict with attacks and events.
Oh, okay, I hadn't been doing that.
So, I think this is like only the second time I've hit you. So, yeah. This doesn't block that. Here we go, exerting. Here I go, exerting again. Nope. Nope.
Is upper right, does it?
That blocks, but since it's a power blow, I still take the 2. I go to 0. And I believe I can like still play cards, because if I had a way to like heal back up before the ability adjustment phase, I could live. But yeah, I think here I am dead.
All right.
So yeah, there you go. Justin has hacked me to pieces with a Bowie knife. I think you were about having to draw back up, right?
Yeah, I was gonna have to. So I was gonna go to 1. I was gonna have to exert to attack there because I didn't have an attack left. All I had is a dodge in my hand.
That ended up being closer than I thought.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we actually play correctly the whole time.
Because I think it was.
And then you can go first because I think that going first is because you were kind of in the back foot the whole time.
Still have an opponent and the chance to take your opponent's head at 0 ability. That's pretty great.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, if you had a headshot there,
I think you
probably could have hit it.
I think there's a pretty good chance.
Maybe throw the headshot in that deck. Just
okay, just for
funsies. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I will get rid of one of these.
I did have an eye out when I was at Gen Con. I was like, if I see a Highlander katana here for like $100, I would have bought it for the joke. Would have been totally worth it.
All right, we've subbed in the headshot.
There was a day when you couldn't go to a con without seeing 20 Highlander katanas on shelves, but now is not that time. The knowledge.
This is where if we had the I can't see me on the green screen, but this is where I could like pretend like I'm headless by using the chroma key. See, yeah. Like, I have no head. Lightning shooting out of me.
Yep, that checks out.
So there you go.
We didn't get our special effects team ready in time.
Yeah.
The Justin rants. If I've gotten the power of ranting. Very cool.
Yeah, I wonder if you actually draw up to 16.
I feel like you draw a little bit. I need to stop. So the start of the game,
let's see what the exactly. All right.
I could talk about wrestling stuff for literally hours, so that's one thing I can actually get going on.
Oh, I screwed that up. When I made those exertions, I couldn't play anything from my hand. I kept playing stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think I was. You can't play attacks, or you can't play.
You cannot play anything if you make an exertion. You cannot play anything from your hand.
Oh,
moving forward. So yeah, I think I hyper lost that game. This shirt is the Guild of Calamitous Intent one. I forget exactly which one it is. Basically, all of the T-shirts I have at this current day and age are.
This is your deck.
Oh, JK. We did have a
for sure.
We've done raw deal on card game Necromancy in season 1 of card game Necromancy.
Yeah.
So.
It was okay. I don't love the mechanics of raw deal.
There are things. I mean, you can hear all of our opinions on it. The ones that we have from it's over a year ago now, but they're I think they're still basically the same, right?
I think so.
There were things we liked about it and things we didn't like about it.
Yeah, I did get a copy of the WCW Nitro game to do on one of these, but it's only a starter deck, or like 2 starter decks, and they are very basic, and they probably would not really show what that game does. But I liked the rules of it. Kern starts with more health because we have this legendary card that gives you +1 health.
Yeah. Because Justin's wallet is bigger than mine, he was able to afford the better cards. That's why he has 16 cards.
So can I like look at my hand as I'm drawing, or do I have to choose?
Oh yeah. I was looking that up and then get distracted. Okay.
The last game I had just tons of attacks in my hand.
Both players draw 15 cards, 1 point for every card of their ability.
You just draw. Okay.
Yeah.
But man, that was all pregame cards. Yeah. So like I watched a tournament of it, or like one of the more recent tournaments at Gen Con, and it was just like the pregame phase. You played like 20 pregame cards, and I was just like, this feels a bit ridiculous, because it was sort of all just laid out exactly how it happens every single game. Nothing's changing about the pregame cards you play, so it just didn't seem that interesting. I like the concept of promos and feuds and stuff in a wrestling card game, because I think that's like a necessary part of wrestling.
Yeah.
9, 12, 14, 16. Turn promo. I ride these streets, and I'm an immortal, and I gotta take out all the other immortals, because I can be the only one.
I'm gonna start with Song the Executioner, Protege. And then I am going to, I think, stab right down the middle. Here we go, thrust, yeah.
Alright, so my turn. I will block that with the lower left. Block. Yep. Play lean and mean and draw. Play lean and mean and draw.
I forgot.
You gotta draw.
One, I will say, slightly annoying thing about this game is the constant counting the cards in your hand.
Yeah. Bowie knife.
Oh god, no.
And we'll go ahead and make that exertion attack with 8 cards. 3, 6. you're not exerting, you're not winning.
You're not
That's
trying.
what I would say. Thrust. Lower left. Lower center.
Oh, God.
So, let's see. Let's do thrust, then lower center, then lower left.
Okay.
Your turn.
Alright, so that was blocked. That's out of the way. I am going to play lower left block. In retrospect, I would 100% play so there's a card that Kalis has that lets you block the next 3 power blows without having to exert to block it, and I would 100% include those in this deck because I had no idea how good that card was. I was like, this card seems pretty good. I don't know what quantity to play it. But yeah, at this point, that card's probably essential to my survival. All right, so I'll block there. This is gonna end up blocking all of them. Center.
Yep.
Lower center.
Okay.
Lower left center. The hog was what was giving you the free power attack.
Yeah,
turn,
exactly.
Right? Okay, so that's good. That's good.
I don't have the hog yet.
No hog. I am gonna play Master's Advice.
Hog's in the discard pile.
You exerted it away.
Yep.
I'm gonna play Master's Advice. So this increases my ability by 2. I assume that lets me go over the maximum. I will play 2 Lean and Means to draw.
Hog is so powerful it didn't come to the fight this time. I only have my Bowie knife and my mustache.
Okay. And then I am going to attack you with a middle left attack. Okay, and it is your turn. I have 5, 10, 12. I get to draw 5. 1, 2, 3.
Alright, I'll block that with the Master Swordsman.
Okay. I'm just gonna cards that don't matter anymore. I'm just gonna put them in my discard pile as I go.
Yeah.
Try to keep the board a little bit more clean.
I'll play Conjure to look through my endurance for an object. I guess there's only 1 hog in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did include that. He had 2 different items.
Put that object directly into play, reshuffle your endurance.
Yeah, because it can get Bowie Knife or the hog.
I can't have 2 Bowie Knives in play.
I don't see why you couldn't have 2.
Alright.
It's when you exert, you
may exert.
Does it say? Oh, it says on there.
You only have 1 Bowie Knife in play.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't have another object I can legally put in play.
Yeah.
In that case. So I guess it just goes.
Yeah. If you wanted to play something else instead.
I don't have anything else to play.
Okay.
So. Alright, I'll just exert for an attack.
Okay. God, no. No, please. No, please.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna back away from all of that nonsense. I am going to play Jealousy. And that is my turn. I played 2 cards. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, and 17.
I'll do a power blow for a flurry strike.
Okay.
So power blow just lets me make a don't have to make an exertion to make a power blow.
Okay.
Your turn.
All right. I am. I'm gonna Master Swordsman and block that one.
Current highlights. Who even knows how much screen time he got?
In
the one.
If we look at him, most of those shots appear to be from the same scene.
Yeah.
So, was this shot in Vancouver? You can always tell things that were shot in Vancouver because there's mountains in the background. I don't know. I don't know if this was shot in Vancouver or not. I don't know. Master Swordsman to block the flurry strike. I will play Song of the Executioner. So you will take 6 damage unless you discard up to 6 cards. And then I think I go for it. I'm going for it. Oh, I can't go for it. I can't. Oh. Stalk to attack you in your head.
Okay.
Alright. It is your turn.
So at start my turn, I have to discard down.
Fusions were not. So that makes sense. I was reading about how there were French and like German investors for the show.
Then I can block the headshot.
Yep.
These are gone. And I'll exert for an attack.
So you discarded 6 to prevent all of the damage. Okay. Oh, and these are all of these are now discarded.
Let's see.
I feel like I'm in a lot less danger without the hog in play.
Yeah, the hog is a big deal, right? Your turn.
Okay, so middle, upper left, and then to the right. Okay, well, I can't block the stuff to the I can block the stuff to the left, but I cannot block the one to the right. So I'll end up taking that too, down to 15. And then I will go for it. I'm gonna stalk, headshot, making it a power blow by exerting. This attack may not be a power blow unless played in conjunction with headshot. So I'll exert for the 5
What's
there.
stalk do?
It's an attack. It's a special attack. If you had played Holy Ground, you couldn't block this, or dodge it even. Yeah, there you go. I'm coming for that head.
So I can just play this Master Swordsman.
Yep, that'll do it. Oh well.
We're Master Swordsman's here.
I tried. Let's see. I have 10, 11. I'm supposed to draw off.
Alright, I will play Rage. So 2 of my attacks this turn may be power blows without an exertion. And I'll exert for an attack. So
okay.
It's 1. Trying to not discard the hog here.
You can only have 2 copies of the hog. I thought it was fine to just play the 1.
Makes sense for 2 with the exertions, right?
Yeah. Well, I also thought the Conjuring could go get it, right? Because I figured you were going to start with like the massive tome in your hand, but you gotta build for those, I guess, corner cases where you might miss.
So 1, 5,
oh, yeah.
6, 7, 8.
Oh, okay. Wait, there were some blocks in there.
Jeez. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Okay. Did you take 6 this turn because you lost 1 from that?
Yeah.
And 5 for the reshuffling.
We're getting there. We'll make this one and this one power blows.
Okay. Dodge will not avoid consecutive attacks. You play this. Oh god.
But I took. You said I took 1 from something.
1 from the rage. Rage does 1 damage.
Oh, you just take damage. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so yeah. Do I draw up here? I think I'll draw 2 cards. All right.
Okay.
Actually, I'll draw up to 10 because I need to try to get the hog.
Alright, lower center attack. I will block. Oh, these are gone. Try to take your head off. Maybe next time. Right block blocks those two. I'll dodge that one.
I thought dodge gets everything.
Not because of the rage.
Oh, dodge will not avoid consecutive attacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I have to like find a way to block all the rest of these. So that one I can block. This one, this attack may not be blocked if the last one was a flurry strike. So this can block there. This can dodge that one. So I have to exert to make this to block that power blow. I don't think that you exert to search for defense. You cannot make an exertion the same turn you search for an attack. So on when you make an exertion, you cannot play any further cards from your hand for the rest of the current phase.
So for the defense phase, you can't.
Defense phase, okay. I can't. Yeah. So yeah, I'll discard the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make that a block. So I'll weather the storm here, and that was like so power exert that one to block that one. This blocks both of those. This blocks that one. This dodges that power below. So all right, I'm gonna set it up again. Boom. Protege. She's back. Also, upper right attack. And I'm gonna put all this stuff in the discard pile to get it out of the way. Upper right attack coming at you.
We'll upper right block.
No, man.
I will play 2 lean and means.
Okay.
Play a lean and mean.
I am at 15, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sit right there.
I'll do an exertion.
Okay.
Attack. No hogs. Never hogs.
Never hogs.
That's a rage. There. Middle right, lower left, and flurry strike. Okay.
Lower bright blocks that one. Lower center blocks that one. And then I end up eating that too. My card play for the turn is going to be Forgery to play a situation from my discard pile. I'll play the Song of the Execution. Jealousy. And now I'll play this Lean and Mean and draw. And then, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
13.
I'll draw 2 and take 5. Down to 8.
So your ability adjustment happened, and then you drew.
Yes.
So you're drawing up to your 13.
Yeah, and then at the next turn, the ability adjustment happens. I believe. Okay. I believe I'm gaming the system here by doing this. I believe I snuck one over on Highlander, the card game.
That makes sense. All right.
Oh, I guess I could have attacked. I could have attacked you in there. Yeah, I'll this lower right attack. Okay.
I'll take 2.
Okay. So you will discard 2 cards at the end of this turn.
Right, I'm down with that. All right, I will exert for an attack. My hog. Master Swordsman does not go in. Okay.
Yes, because it is.
So I'll do thrust then lower right. I don't really expect those to hit. And I'll discard 2 cards. Discard these 2 flurry strikes. And I have 7 cards. I'll draw 1. Your
turn. Okay. Well, this upper right blocks the thrust. I think I have to exert to block this other one, so I'll do that. Okay. Oh no, the headshot. Okay, well that stops me from attacking this turn. I am going to play Song of the Executioner. So you will take 6 damage, reduced by 1 for each card that you discard. And I cannot make a non-ranged attack this turn, so it is your turn.
Discard in 6. Exert for an attack. 5. I'll take 5.
You don't need that many cards.
It's gonna run me out of gas. Run the hog out of gas. Well, it takes.
There are a lot of money being in a Mortal Biker Club.
I guess so.
Yeah, now that I've played a couple games, I would definitely adjust some numbers in these decks.
That makes sense, yeah.
Now that I have any clue of what's happening in the game, so.
Alright. Middle left attack, thrust, flurry strike, upper center attack, thrust. Alright, let's see what we got here. Let's assemble this. Let's go middle left, thrust, upper center, flurry strike, thrust.
I think I'm about to be hacked to pieces.
And I will draw 1 card. It's not a hog.
I am about to be hacked to pieces for my hubris. Okay. You have to exert? Because, yeah. I gotta exert for defense. Back away. Back away. Back away. Back away. Back away. I get hacked 2 pieces.
Okay.
Because this can block there.
And you don't have blocks for anything else, so you take like 8.
And that one, yeah, I take 7, right? Because this is no, this is only none of those were power attacks, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I think I ended up taking 8 there. Oh, more because of the thrust. I get hacked 2 bits.
Yeah, thrusts take extra damage. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You cut me 2 actual pieces.
Okay. Sweet.
There you go. That is Highlander, the card game. I told Justin before the stream began, this system is interesting.
It's very interesting. I really like
fast-paced too.
Yeah, I really like the assembling of the attacks and then having to match block. Because that didn't click with me that you could block consecutive attacks with the same block. So like when you're trying to lay them out to make them harder to block is really interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool mechanic. Well, I kind of wish that you could naturally play more than 1 attack a turn because of that.
Yeah, so there are a lot of cards that let you break those rules.
Okay, that makes sense.
But
and I guess if you're like power attacking, then you play it. Okay.
Yeah. So the character packages, right? So Kern's character package is like throwing attacks off the top of your deck to try to hack your opponent to pieces with like just a massive number of attacks. Whereas Kalos is like trying to control the cards that are in their hand and then eventually set up like a headshot to take their head out.
Because if you would have gotten the combo off again, I couldn't have discarded enough cards to negate the damage, right? So
yeah, and you would have taken 4 damage. So you would have discarded cards, and then after you drew up, you'd have to discard your hand. And then you would just not have a hand, and then I can just power attack to try to try to headshot and take your head off.
Yeah, I would like to see how like cleanly built Highlander decks work.
Yeah, I bet it's pretty interesting. And I told Justin that like the game here, I felt like it could go through another couple rounds of like development. Like if you were like modern development. Now, I did also say that I felt like if you went through another round of development, this game just turns into UFS.
Yeah.
Because
which we'll probably be playing soon, by the way. The My Hero Academia UFS.
Yeah. That is going to be on its way. That won't be a card game Necromancy.
It's just a special stream. Yeah.
It'll just be a special stream. But UFS feels like it actually cribbed a lot from this system, and I don't know if that is true or not. But it's supposed to mimic a fighting game. So you've got like up, high, middle,
that's
and low
something
attacks.
that you just implement, right? If you're trying to mimic fighting or sword play, you have like zones of attacks, right? And you're trying to bait different zones. So
right. And also there's no exertions in UFS, but when you're playing a card in UFS, it has a number. And there's a control number on the card. So when you play a card, you flip the top card of your deck, and if that number equals this number, then you get to successfully play that card. So
you design a card for Highlander that got printed in a later.
That's pretty cool. Dope. Yeah. Was that one of the fan made sets? Because I know. So that we should close out by saying that the fans carried this game on for years. There were like cards that were released as late as 2018 or something like that. Back to the show being 119 episodes, Kern was like a single episode character.
Arms and tactics. So for that, that's awesome.
Oh, okay, yeah. So was that the third set then? I almost bought an Arms and Tactics starter to go with the because I picked up movie starter,
the Circle.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up to see what that card did. But that's awesome to hear.
We appreciate you chatting and
keeping
us
keeping us the rules straight. That way we don't have a Dune situation again.
Yeah.
So
or the fifth set. Okay.
All right.
Sweet.
Yeah, I came very close to picking up a starter for it because it was a relatively cheap starter, and it was one of those where if I didn't hit the basic attacks, because I ended up having to buy like an extra starter than I needed to because the starter didn't come with all the required basic attacks and defenses in it. So
I would like to see this reskinned as a Jedi duel game.
Yeah,
I think it'd be pretty cool
with force powers. Imagine.
Pretty neat.
Like you Jedi mind trick your opponent, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing about the Sword Master system, right? It was clearly designed to do other things spaces, with it, right? So, I would love to see. This kind of like revived.
Maybe Highlander's getting the Revolution. Maybe someone will pick that game up.
Maybe.
And there's exactly no money in TCGs anymore,
right? Yeah, why don't where would you even print them? How would you even get them?
That's a great question.
You'd have to smuggle them into the United States at this point.
Yeah, that's a great question. They would have to be printed in the United States. Or they would have to be printed on separate continents, right? Sunday, we're back with G1. G1 Group B. We're going to see all the Group B decks for the first time. That's very exciting.
Monday is likely Wild Space.
Yep, we got Wild Space.
So if you're looking forward or looking for the board game stream, it's going to be Wild Space. A week from tonight is going to be Wars.
I'm excited about Wars.
Got
a lot of Wars. I never played it. My only familiarity with that system is sort of our Card Game Necromancy stream from Star Wars card games.
And I once again a friendly reminder that if you want to get the maximum enjoyment of the Wars stream, go back and watch our Star Wars one, because the more you remember and the more that you recognize from the Star Wars game, the more you'll understand what's happening in Wars. Because I think I'm just going to start the stream off by asking a very point blank question. Yes, the Star Wars card game was enjoyed by a lot of people, but what are some of the major flaws? And then we're going to dive right into Wars and how Wars wanted to address the issues that the Star Wars card game presented.
And how it solved those issues.
And how it solved those issues. Okay. If they were solved.
That'll be interesting.
That's kind of like how I want to start the stream off. Just going through that thought exercise, because I would like to imagine that I'm in the shoes of a decipher exec,
And you are embezzling all kinds of millions of dollars.
And I don't give a shit anymore because I've embezzled like $1.2 million from Decipher at the time. But I still want to fix the Star Wars card game. So there you go.
Cool.
Looking forward to it. Glad people stopped by tonight for Highlander.
Yep, so. That was fun. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Sunday for G1.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.